everyone, my name's Christy. Welcome to my corner. Thank you so much for joining me today for Flosstube number 87. It's so nice to have you here. I do have some things to talk about today, but I don't think it'll take very long. I think this will be a relatively short episode. I have a new start, a new stitchy start. I have some finished objects that are not stitching, but are weaving and spool, vintage wooden spool related. I have progress on the works in progress that you've been seeing, but nothing extraordinary. And I have no haul. I have a little life update anyways. But before we get to any of that, I want to welcome all my new subscribers. Thank you so much for joining me on my crafty and artistic adventures. And welcome back to everyone who's been with me for however long you've been with me. It has been so nice to get to know you in the comments here on YouTube and also on Instagram. And if you're not following me on Instagram, you can find me in two places and I'll put them both right here. My main account is like my personal account. That's my stitching and my life and my dog and stuff like that. And you can find that at Dr._Christy. And the second account is my homage to vintage wooden spools called the Spoolery. And that's where I post, you know, the different things I make with wooden spools. It's focused on wooden spools and wooden spool adjacent. So if you're interested in keeping up with me during the week, you can find me in those two places. This is a channel about embroidery and cross stitch and weaving and other textile crafts and other random crafts if I feel like doing them, and history and the history of all of those things. So if any of that is interesting to you and you're not subscribed, I'd love to have you subscribe and stick around. I'm going to start with an apology. I had planned on having the next episode of my Embroidery 101 class out on Tuesday, but there was a complete catastrophe at work, and it wasn't my fault, but I had to deal with it. I think I'll just talk about it now. It'll be pretty quick. It won't take very long, but that ate up Monday and Tuesday for me. And what I usually do is I film on Sunday or Monday and then edit Monday and Tuesday for release on Tuesday and Wednesday. So it didn't work. So what happened was I am a college professor and I just became the chair of my department like 3.5 weeks ago, which means that now if something goes wrong, I have to deal with it. So I woke up Monday morning and I couldn't log into our learning management system. In the modern world, if you're not in education or in academia, you might not know that in the modern world, your classes are essentially housed in a learning management system, and there are different companies that do this, and you the schools contract out. So we use one called Canvas, and I could get into Canvas on my phone and my iPad, but I couldn't log in on my computer. I'm like, this is weird. So then I tried to log into other things, and I couldn't log into those things as well. Essentially, we have a central login point. And that login point, it's basically a portal where you log into that portal, and then you have your learning management system, you have your email, you have, for professors, you have access to student records, all these different things through that portal. The login for the portal stopped working. So no one could log in to the portal. And they're sending emails, IT is sending update emails through email, but half the people on campus only get their email through this portal that they can't get to. So I go into class and I go, well, my classes are fully online, which means that they're only in this portal, through this portal. So my students can't access materials. They can't turn in their assignments. They can't find the readings that I've posted. They can't take the quizzes that I've posted, right? All this stuff is in our learning management system, and they can't access that unless they were already logged in. So I can't guarantee. So anyway, so I have to postpone due dates because everything that I do is due on Mondays. Had to postpone the due dates until Tuesday. So Tuesday we wake up and it's still down, and we've heard nothing from the administration. The provost hasn't sent us any policy on how we deal with this. My faculty who teach online are having to cancel classes because they basically have a Zoom class online Tuesday morning. He had to cancel his class. Another one of my faculty has a Zoom class Tuesday night. She's like, what do I do? And so here I am 3 weeks on the job, making these decisions because no one above me is making any decisions. So I email my dean. I'm like, what is going on? What are we supposed to do? And he basically said, I don't know. I'm like, all right. I mean, shit, I've been on this job for 3 weeks. I'll make the decisions. Yeah, heck yeah, I'll do that. Whatever. So I'm making these decisions. for those of you to just, we still haven't heard anything from administration. Like there's still no policy, no discussion of it. I'm meeting with the chairs in my college and our dean on Tuesday, and we're going to discuss it there, but there's been no guidance from the administration about this. This is as if the power went out on campus for 2 days and like no one said anything. Because, and I think part of it is that the face-to-face classes could still meet. So around campus, if you're looking around campus, everything looks the same. But half of our classes are online, which meant that half of our classes were essentially canceled for 2 days and we had no guidance. Anyway, that was my Monday and Tuesday, and that is why I did not get, that's why I didn't get the embroidery class up. So my plan is that it's going to be up for Tuesday, barring another absolute catastrophe. And yeah, it's going to be up then. So I'm going to do, I think it's going to be satin stitch. It's going to be a short one just because I just don't have a lot of time for editing. So it's going to just be satin stitch. And then the final one will be lazy daisies and French knots, which everyone's sort of afraid of French knots, but they're not scary. French knots aren't scary. So yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen this week, I promise. And that's my life update. I've just been dealing with work. Just trying to figure out my new role, trying to, I mean, we're already scheduling classes for next semester, trying to deal with the bookstore, you know, all these different things, just lots of meetings and just trying to figure out what I'm supposed to do. So that is where I've been. But I've also been crafting. I spent all day in here yesterday doing like making things and straightening up a little bit, which is nice, and organizing a little bit. I mean, if you were to look look at the world around me, it doesn't look organized, but it looks better, and that feels good. One of the things that I finished and that I showed you last week was I talked about these woven necklaces and how I wanted to try out sort of different ideas for woven necklaces that I could sell at my like craft fairs for relatively inexpensive as just like a nice inexpensive item. And so this one's okay, but I don't love the like how uneven it is, and it was really hard to warp through the beads and this is what I liked having the full length. So that, while isn't bad, I don't love. So then I showed you this one, which was a pink and gray one, which I warped separately. And then what I ended up doing was putting just a bead as kind of a tie at the top. And that worked okay, except that it's very short, so you can't, it's like for children, so you can't just slip it over your head easily. So I tried a couple of things. I tried this one where I warped it like this, so it's one loop, and then cut it at the top and tied the knot and put a bead. And so that way it's long enough to put on over your head, but then you can tighten it, and it didn't have to, and I could like tie these into knots to keep it all together, as opposed to what I had been doing, which was weird, like wrapping it and stuff like that. And it worked okay, but I don't know. It just looks a little shabby to me. And then I tried a final one, which I didn't even finish because finishing it would have taken time and I didn't feel like dealing with the time. But this is the last one that I did. I haven't even done the ends. And it just, you know, even with the ends tied in, I just didn't love it. And I think what I've decided, well, first of all, I love this color combo. So this color combo is definitely going to be a woven wall hanging at some point. But I just feel like they look cheap and shabby and like kids craft. Like, I think this would be a great kids craft. I don't think it's something that I want to sell at, you know, at a craft fair or whatever. It's just not, it's too kids craft for me. And it's cute, and, you know, I think in order to elevate them, I'd have to buy a new loom. The loom I have just is not good enough for this size of things. All I have is like a cheap $20 loom that I bought at Michael's like a year ago. Maybe not a year ago. in January, that I bought in January. And it's, you know, it's not made for fine, tiny little work like this. And so it was just too difficult. It was just too difficult to do, and it's not worth it to me, I don't think. So then I moved on. Oh, I made another one. And I also made this one in the brown and the mustard. So I moved on, and I was kind of thinking about one of the problems I'm having is that for my craft fairs, I don't have anything that's like inexpensive enough, right? I feel like if you go to like an art festival or a craft fair, you have to have like $5 things, $10 things, $20 things, $50 things, right? And I only had like $35 to $60 things. And so I was losing a lot of sales. So I was trying to figure out how I could make something quickly that looked cool, but I could sell for $20. Because the earrings and stuff that I have, I sell for $40 because they are silk spools and, you know, they're rare and whatnot. So these are the spools that I like. I like these vintage one spools, but I like the ones that have the writing stamped in. I just think that they're lovely and I love them. So what I ended up doing was cutting off the ends. I bought myself a little saw, just a hand saw, and a vise that right now I'm holding it. So it's like I'm not in danger of sawing myself, but it does slide around a bit, which makes it difficult. So I sawed off the ends, as I said, and sanded them. And then I put some silver leaf. There we go. Silver leaf on the back just to kind of finish them up. And I made them. Oh, and then I sealed them with, I don't know, like a paint sealer. And I made earrings out of them. So I posted these on my Spoolery Instagram and people seem to like them. I mean, my Spoolery Instagram doesn't have a ton of subscribers or followers, but the people who follow me seem to like them. But I didn't love this silver part. It just, I don't know. It was fiddly. It didn't work how I wanted it to work. I don't know. I didn't love it. So then I thought, well, I have resin, and I was playing around with resin yesterday, and I'm like, okay, well, why don't I put resin on the back instead? And the resin looked fantastic, and I really liked the glossiness. And then here, I'm sorry, that was very blurry for you. So there, you can see how glossy and kind of nice that is. But what ended up happening was because this was on the ground, it dripped under and it got a little bit on the front. So I'm like, okay, well, let's put resin all around it. Let's resin the whole thing. And it ended up looking like that, which is fine, but I don't love it. And one of them, I did it to 2 different pairs. Yeah, this one. So this one got really uneven and bubbly, and I just didn't love it. So I have 4 that I fully resin that I don't love. I think I'm going to do something with them. I just don't know what that something is. So then I thought, okay, why don't I just resin the backs? You can see backs, and leave the fronts unresined. And I like this a lot. I really like how this turned out. So I've made some earrings, and I just put a chain and a chain through and a ring. There we go. I just put a chain through and a ring. And then I realized that I had some posts. And so I made little post earrings too. So I made 6 pairs of these spool earrings yesterday. And that was really fun. I had one where when I was cutting it in half, one side came off fine and one side snapped in half. So I made that into a zipper pull, which I think worked really well. And this was a suggestion of someone on Instagram. And what I did is I made my own loop. There we go. So that way you can pull on it and it won't open up like a jump ring. A jump ring is just kind of like held together. It's not held together at all. It's just kind of bent together. So this is kind of bent around a couple times and it will hold well. So that's what I did yesterday. I also, if you remember from a couple weeks ago, I had made some scissors fobs out of spools, and they had metal beads on them. Not metal beads, I'm sorry. They had wooden beads that I had covered in metallic foil, so like gold foil, silver foil, copper foil. And I didn't like them at all. So I removed the beads, and for the spools that didn't have anything pretty on top, I just used some gold metallic. I don't know if you can see. That's gold. There you go. That's gold metallic. And for the ones that didn't, I just left it open. So they're just sort of hanging out. And I like them. I like them this way much, much better. I do really like the little squat ones. Like little squat ones. And I'm thinking that like these ones that are all done would make really nice little scissors fobs with the chain. I would do them like this, except I would sort of connect this to the chain and then make the chain go a little bit longer before attaching this, and then attach something else to it as well, a little charm to it as well. So those are the spoolie things I did yesterday. I also got myself a resin mold to make like Pandora beads, like the flat round wide mouth beads. And so I made some beads out of clear resin and thread embroidery floss. So you can really see it, I think, with the blue and the pink, because I use less floss in those. So I think the key is to actually use only a little bit of embroidery floss as opposed to the red, which just looks like a red plastic bead. So that's what I was doing yesterday, playing around, making some beads for maybe future, I don't know, maybe future scissors fobs because they're nice and light. Maybe for earrings because they're nice and light. I don't know. So that's what I did yesterday. And those are the things that I have finished. I feel like I'm looking down a lot today, and I'm sorry about that, but that's where they are, and that's where we are. So let's talk stitching. I have 2 new starts this week. One of them is secret stitching, so I can't show you. It's my cross stitch Christmas holiday, winter holiday swap that I'm doing thanks to Heather Link is my homeboy. She organized that. So I can't show you that because it's a secret. But I also started Columbo. So I started Columbo, who is the 5th entry into my Sleuths series, which is just me having fun embroidering my favorite TV and literary sleuths. And the TV version, well, the literary sleuths are actually their TV versions. So I will show you. I always show you them because I love them so much. But we have Jessica Fletcher, Sherlock Holmes, the Jeremy Brett version, Poirot, the David Suchet version, and finally Phryne Fisher from Miss Fisher's Mysteries. So those are my sleuths, and now I'm working on Columbo, who won the popular vote on Instagram and YouTube, and then the final sleuth will be Miss Marple, the Joan Hickson version. So that's where I am with him, and I've done just some of the outline and some of his hair. I still haven't come up with a color for his jacket, which I will do when I'm done filming, since it's right here and I just need to find it. But I've been thinking about that too. And yeah, I'm really happy with them. They are going to all be framed in an 8-inch hoop like this that I'm going to paint black, and they're going to go in my dining room. I'm sort of doing a maximalist gallery wall dining room situation that I've been working on for a few months. So that is my new start and my only embroidery whip at the moment. I have done a little bit of work on my temperature drink shelf. Not a ton of work. I am not caught up by any means, but I have done a little bit of work. And I have, oh, this is what it's going to look like at the end. And here is where I am. And I'm pretty sure I didn't have any glasses in August done. So I have about, I don't know, a third of the glasses in August done. And I did a knick-knack. Look at that. My knick-knack, of course, is like a bottle of brandy. a decanter of brandy. But I really like it, and I'm pretty pleased. And we've been fairly cool the past couple weeks. So I might get some, let's look at my colors all on here. My colors have, my floss card that I use, that's a mess that I need to, it's all falling apart. But it has all of the numbers on it. So we were in the oranges for a bit this month. So that's really fun. It makes me feel better about these 2 months here that were very brown and beige. But I think the whole thing looks fantastic and I'm really pleased with it. This is done on a 14 count navy Aida, 2/1 full cross. And the Aida is just in a DMC brand, probably in a tube that I got at Joann Fabrics. My second whip, and I think my only whip, because I don't think I worked on, I'll show it to you anyway. This is my wedding sampler. It's the River by Modern Folk Embroidery, and this is what it's going to look like. But I don't think I worked on this since last time I saw you. I am doing it in gold DeVere Yarns, silk in 72 weight, 3 strands over 1. And I've been saying that this is 16 count Aida. I think that it's 18 count Aida. I'm doing it 3/1. And this has been printed using Cyanotype and some lace that I got for my wedding. So that's that. But I don't think I worked on this since last time you saw it. So I'm going to put it away. Because I have been working on the secret stitching, and it's actually been really nice because it's not a full coverage, and it's not a very large design, but anyway, yeah, it's fun. It's not very many colors, but it's still interesting. I don't know. Anyway, I've been enjoying stitching on that for my swap buddy. The final stitching I've been doing is on my Heaven and Earth design, my HAED Lady in the Unicorn. This is what it's going to look like. And here is where I am now. And so I have been focusing down here mostly. And I've been working on those 2 tiny bunnies. That's what I've been working on. So not a ton. I have hit 12%, so that's exciting. But I have a lot more to go. This is stitched in the called for DMC, obviously, because it's a HAED, 2/1 full cross on 20 count ivory Aida. So that's what I'm doing with this. And I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. And I had mentioned last week that the reason why I was going to do the bunnies is because my friend Marcia had mentioned how she wanted me to do the bunnies. I was mistaken. She wanted me to do this monkey. So I'm not near the monkey yet, but I'm going to kind of finish these bunnies and kind of work my way over towards the monkey because I do think that having the monkey down will be really fun. So that's my next goal after I finish these bunnies, is getting to that monkey. And that is all of my stitching for today. And I think all of my things to talk about for the day, because I don't have haul. My plans are just my normal plans, working on what I have. I did send out some of the pattern prizes from my 2-year Flosstube anniversary. So if you emailed me, I sent it out already. If you messaged me through Instagram, I'm going to send it out today. So you'll get that today. In fact, you will get that while this is rendering and uploading. And my 2 winners for my 2-year Flosstube anniversary extravaganza prizes, they have not been sent out yet. I have not had time. And I did mention that it will be a couple weeks before they can get out. I just want to make sure that you know that they are coming. I promise. I just have not had the time, but they will get out, and I will let you know as soon as they go out, and I'll send you a tracking number and everything, so you will have that. So don't worry about that. I have not forgotten. It's just kind of, I need to get a sign in my office, like so many weeks since the last crisis. And we're at zero weeks since the last crisis. So when I have some breathing space, they will go out, I promise. And that's it from me, friends. I want to thank you all so much for joining me. This, like I said, has been a kind of a short one for me. I will see you on Tuesday for another embroidery class on satin stitch, and I'll see you next Friday for my Flosstube, my normal, or next Saturday or Sunday for my Flosstube. But I just remembered, I plan on my new 2023 temperature pattern release that I did a little sneak peek of with the birds. I plan on releasing it. It's almost finished. I have a couple more hours of work to do on it, and then it'll be finished. And I plan on releasing it on the 1st, whatever day the 1st is. Wednesday? Thursday? So I'm going to do a little short for that. Just quick upload, show you what it looks like, short, and then it'll be available on my my Etsy site, which is linked down below, but where you'll also find my temperature drink shelf, which I keep forgetting to tell you. So you can find my Etsy shop down below, and that's where you'll find my patterns, my temperature patterns. And I'll also do a giveaway, a temperature pattern, a temperature birds giveaway next Flosstube. So check back for that, and we will do that then. All right, now that's it. I've just been babbling and my throat hurts. I need to drink something. So thank you so much for joining me again. Please take good care of yourselves and have a good one. Bye.